Scientists invented a completely fake disease called bixonimania, and AI chatbots confidently told patients it was real. That's our lead today. Plus, a Polymarket bot just cleared $438,000 in a month. Google's Gemma 4 is running locally on iPhones with no internet, and the uncomfortable math problem where your AI agent produces 100 times faster than your team can review its work. From the team at the Synthetic Daily, it's Thursday, April 9th, 2026. Good to have you with us.
We went through about 117 posts, articles, and threads across LinkedIn, Substack, and YouTube to find what people are talking about today. Let's get into it.
All right, let's start with something that should genuinely unsettle you. Researchers created a completely fictitious disease. They called it bixonimania, published 2 prank academic papers about it, and then waited. Gary Marcus flagged this on LinkedIn today, pointing to a Nature magazine report. The fake disease was supposedly linked to blue light exposure in the 500 to 700 nanometer spectrum, which is, the light coming off the screen you're looking at right now. The symptoms? Sort of itchy eyes, common enough that millions of people might search for them.
So here's what I keep coming back to, and frankly, where it gets bad. When people type those symptoms into popular AI chatbots over the past 18 months, several of them returned bixonimania as a possible diagnosis. A disease that does not exist, never has, was fabricated from scratch as a research experiment. Marcus called it a masterclass on how mis- and disinformation operates. And he's not wrong.
This isn't a theoretical risk anymore. We're watching it happen in real time. The underlying problem is that large language models are trained on internet text, and if prank papers get indexed, even papers that are clearly satire to a human domain expert, the models treat them as just more training signal. There's no built-in immune system for distinguishing a real medical condition from a well-formatted fake one. And the chatbots didn't hedge. They didn't say this is unverified. They presented it with the same calm authority they'd used to describe strep throat.
That tracks with what we've been seeing. The implications go way beyond one hoax. If 2 researchers with a sense of humor can poison the medical knowledge of widely used AI systems, imagine what a coordinated disinformation campaign could do. This is the trust problem that nobody has solved yet, and it's getting more urgent the more we lean on these systems for real decisions about our health.
Here's something that caught my eye. Nate B. Jones has been on a tear this week, and his most-watched piece is about a Polymarket bot that made $438,000 in 30 days. Polymarket, if you haven't been following, is a prediction market. You're essentially betting on the outcomes of real-world events, elections, policy decisions, whether CEO gets fired. And someone built an automated agent that traded on it with enough sophistication to clear nearly $500,000 in profit in a single month.
Now, Jones's point isn't just look at this cool bot. His argument is that prediction markets are a canary in the coal mine. They're one of the first domains where the entire information-to-action loop is digital, fast, and quantifiable, which makes them a perfect playground for AI agents. But every industry has some version of that loop. Insurance underwriting, supply chain logistics, media buying. If an AI agent can read, reason, and act faster than a human in a prediction market, it can do the same thing anywhere the signal is mostly in data rather than in relationships or physical presence.
Jones pairs this with another piece that hit almost 50,000 views. Your agent produces at 100x. Your org reviews at 3x. That's the problem. And that framing is devastatingly precise. We've all felt this. You can spin up an AI agent that generates analysis, code, or content at a pace no human team can match. But the human review bottleneck hasn't changed. Your compliance team still reads at human speed. Your manager still needs to think before approving. So what happens? Either you skip the review, which is how you get bixonomania level errors at scale, where you create a massive pileup where the AI's output sits in a queue, and you've gained speed but lost throughput. That tension between production velocity and review capacity is going to define organizational design for the next 3 years. Network Chuck, who's become one of the most reliable barometers of what the hobbyist to professional tech crowd actually cares about, dropped a video this week that pulled over 330,000 views. The subject, Google's Gemma 4 model running locally on an iPhone. No internet connection required. And it's not a toy demo. He showed it translating Japanese text from a pill bottle in real time, running what he described as blazing fast.
Let's talk about why this matters beyond the wow factor. For years, the assumption has been that serious AI requires the cloud. You send your query up, a massive GPU cluster chews on it, and the answer comes back down. That model works great in San Francisco with 5 bars of signal. It works less great on a factory floor, in a rural clinic, on a plane, or in any of the dozens of real-world contexts where connectivity is spotty, or where you genuinely don't want your data leaving the device.
Local inference changes the privacy equation entirely. If the model runs on your phone, your medical question never hits a server. Your proprietary business document never leaves your laptop. Daniel Jindu has been beating this drum from a different angle all week with a series of videos about OpenCode, an open-source AI coding tool that runs locally. His framing is about ownership versus rental. When you use a cloud-based AI coding assistant, you're renting capability. When you run it locally, you own the pipeline. You control what goes in, what comes out, and who sees it.
And the part that doesn't get enough attention. This local-first movement is still early, but the pieces are falling into place faster than most people expected. Model compression techniques have gotten dramatically better. Apple's Neural Engine, Qualcomm's NPU, Google's Tensor chips. The silicon is finally catching up to the ambition. We're approaching a world where the default AI experience might not require an internet connection at all. And that rewrites the competitive dynamics for every company currently selling cloud AI services.
So here's the another thing. One of the sharpest warnings this week came from Nate Jones again, with a piece titled, "You're building AI agents on layers that won't exist in 18 months." The core argument is that a lot of the middleware, frameworks, and orchestration tools people are building their AI workflows on top of are going to get absorbed, either eaten by the foundation model providers themselves or rendered irrelevant by the next generation of model capabilities.
This isn't hypothetical. Think about how many retrieval-augmented generation startups launched in 2024. Now think about the fact that context windows have gone from 8,000 tokens to over 1 million in some models. A huge chunk of what RAG was solving, getting relevant information into the model's awareness, becomes less necessary when the model can just hold more. Jones also analyzed 512,000 lines of leaked code from major AI tool providers, and his conclusion is that the direction of travel is clear. More capability is moving into the base models and the platform layers, squeezing out the tooling in between.
Abdirahman Jama captured the human side of this on LinkedIn, writing about the FOMO epidemic among software engineers. "Every new framework feels like the thing you must learn," he wrote. Python, Go, Rust, Postgres, Mongo, DynamoDB, Monolith, microservices, serverless, LLMs, RAG, agentic workflows, MCP, vibe coding. The list never stops growing. His advice? Stop going wide. Go deep. Master language. Understand how systems fail. Learn caching and queues and how production actually works. Because those fundamentals don't get absorbed by the next platform release.
There's a real strategic question here for anyone building in this space. Are you building on a layer that's permanent, or a layer that's transitional? And if you can't answer that clearly, you might want to think about what your product looks like when the model provider ships your feature as a checkbox.
All right, next up, Ruben Hassid has been everywhere this week. Multiple LinkedIn posts about Claude setup, AI writing style, tool recommendations. But the one that actually stopped me was a short story about sitting with a transportation logistics coordinator. He watched her walk through her weekly report, 7 steps total. 5 were mechanical. 2 required judgment. He asked her, "Which of these require you being you?" She pointed to the summary and the distribution decisions. They automated the rest in a week.
Her quote afterward was the line that stuck. "I actually think about the business now." And that, Hasid argues, is the whole point. Not replace your people with AI. Replace the work that insults your best people's intelligence. It's a small reframing, but it changes everything about how you approach AI adoption. Instead of asking your team what tools they want, which Hasid says is the wrong question, ask them to show you their clicks. Where are they spending time on tasks that a machine could do just as well?
This connects to a broader theme we're seeing across the conversation this week. Jones talks about the 3 layers AI can and cannot replace in business. Hasid is saying the same thing from the practitioner's side. The mechanical layer, data entry, formatting, moving information from one system to another, that's going away. The judgment layer, what does this data mean? Who should see it? What should we do about it? That's where humans still dominate. And the taste layer, as Jones puts it, is your only real edge now. Judgment and taste. Knowing which of the AI's 100 outputs is actually good.
Meanwhile, Jan LeCun offered a glimpse of the talent war behind all of this. He posted that everyone is chasing the same 500 top AI researchers, and warned against trying to brute force hiring with money alone. It will create the wrong culture, he wrote, and the team won't survive the first turbulences. His new lab, AMI, is hiring a recruiter in New York specifically because these researchers don't apply to job postings. They talk to people they trust. The implication is clear. In the race to build the next generation of AI, the bottleneck isn't compute or data. It's people. And specifically, the kind of people who can exercise judgment and taste at the frontier.
All right, let's zoom out and talk about the bigger picture. What are the main themes running through everything we covered today? The first big theme is trust infrastructure is missing. The gap between AI's confident delivery and its actual reliability is widening faster than our verification systems can keep up, creating a systemic vulnerability across medicine, finance, and public discourse.
Next, the review bottleneck. Organizations are discovering that the hardest part of deploying AI agents isn't generation speed. It's redesigning human oversight processes that were built for a pre-automation pace.
Next, local-first AI is arriving ahead of schedule. Hardware acceleration and model compression are converging to make on-device inference practical for mainstream use cases, threatening the economic model of cloud-only AI providers.
Next, keep an eye on platform absorption risk. The current AI tooling ecosystem faces an existential compression where capabilities that justify entire startups today become default features of foundation model platforms tomorrow.
And the last one, judgment as the durable skill. Across every conversation this week, from logistics coordinators to frontier researchers, the consistent signal is that evaluative judgment, not productive output, is becoming the scarce and valuable human contribution.
So if you're going to take away a few things from today's episode, here's what I'd remember.
Number 1, the next AI crisis won't come from models getting dumber. It'll come from them being confidently wrong in domains where we've stopped double-checking.
Number 2, before you invest in any AI tooling layer, ask yourself, could the model provider ship this as a feature next quarter?
Number 3, the real measure of AI adoption isn't how much your agents produce. It's whether your organization can review, approve, and act on that output without breaking.
And finally, if you want to find where AI should go in your company, don't survey your team, shadow them and count the clicks that don't require a human brain.
That's the Synthetic Daily for today. All the sources and links are on the website if you want to dig deeper.
Thanks for listening. See you tomorrow.
dark, the better dancing, the barrel.